To learn software. This is going to be a video as part of a set of videos which are going to help you learn how to create a dashboard using Excel. Now what you've got in front of you here is two open files. One on the left hand side, the original data file that we have, which is from a holiday booking company. As you can see from the list of different headings or different column headings, you've got the date that these people were surveyed, you've got the email address, what gender they are, the holiday date, the holiday duration, the holiday type, accommodation, and so on and so forth. This is the raw data, and this is all we've got at the moment in terms of sheets in this Excel file. And on the right hand side is what we aim to get to as a final or a part of a final dashboard, which is basically important information that is extracted from this data set that we can lay out in an aesthetically pleasing or visual way to make it easier for us to then make decisions for our company. And that's essentially what we're trying to do, and this is called data modeling, right? So we're trying to extract important information and lay it out in a way where we can actually look at the data and be able to see trends in the data, and therefore that should help us make decisions moving forward. Okay, so as you would with every dashboard, you would always start with the raw data file, and the first step to get into this dashboard, or this style of dashboard if you like, is to put the data that you have in a table. Now you can do that in two ways. If you are on a Mac, you would press Command and T. If you are on a Windows, you would press and hold Control and click the T button on the keyboard, or the T key. Okay, and that's what that's going to do, is essentially put this data, and it's already recognized and it's drawn what we call marching ants around the data, as you can see, a border around the data. So if that doesn't work for whatever reason, you could always go to Insert tab and click on Table, and it's just basically done the same thing. What you want to do is then go ahead and press OK, and you can see straight away it's basically inserted the data into a table, and now I can kind of start to filter through the data. So say for example, if I wanted to view all the information for females only, I would click on that, and you can see now all the data that I have for females, that's the only thing that's been selected, and I can do the same thing for males, and that will switch over. So that gives me a little bit of an understanding of the data, and it gives me a little bit of an ability to sort and filter through different columns. Okay, but what this is going to allow me to do is go much further than that and be able to spot trends. So once we've got our data in a table, we're going to create a new sheet and we're going to call this sheet, double click here and call it bar pivot. Okay, and this is because in order for us to create graphs that extract specific information, we first of all need to extract the information from the table, and to do that we have to use a pivot table. Okay, once we've created this new sheet, we're going to go to Insert, Table, and Pivot Table. Okay, it's going to ask me, what this is asking me is, where do you want the data to come from? Okay, so I'm going to go to the first sheet in my workbook, click on the first cell. I'm going to highlight it from the top to the bottom and from the left to the right, and that's again drawn a border around my data, as you can see there. And now I've got the source for the data that I want to create pivot tables from. I'm going to click OK, and here what I have all of a sudden is all the different fields, or all the different column headings if you like, that I can now start to manipulate. Okay, and the objective is to create mini tables from that major table that we have. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to compare the holiday type with the males and females. So for each holiday type, we're going to try and extract how many males went on that holiday and how many females went on that holiday. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to need to grab the gender, and I'm going to add that to the rows, and I'm going to need to grab the holiday type and drag that to the columns. And as you can see, it's creating a table. Now, males and females, and then the different types of holidays that are available through this holiday company. Now, the only problem I have at the moment is there is no data. So what is the data I want to see? Well, I want to see the data for the holiday type. Okay, so that's the data I'm going to drag into values over here. Okay, so now that I've got data, what this is showing me is showing me, for example, for the apartment holiday type, 52 females went on this type of holiday and 54 males went on this type of holiday, and this is the total for this. Okay, and then the same thing for camping, same thing for cruise, same thing for hotel, and you've got a grand total of females, a grand total of males, and a grand total of all of them together. And we can double check that this is correct, because if we go back to our main source of data, we're going to see that, scroll down, oops, scroll up a bit. Okay, we're going to see that we have 499 different entries, and it says 500 there. It's only because a row has been used up by the headings there. So we have 499 records, if you like, in this data set, and that's why the total is 499. Okay, so that's all good and nice. How do we turn that into a graph now? Well, that's really easy. So we're going to go to insert, and we are going to make sure we select one of these charts we have here. I'm just going to go to a column chart, and I'm going to select cluster column over there, and that's it. It's basically taken that data, and now again, even though I've extracted this data, which is so much easier than trying to find this kind of information from this table, it's just too much to look at. It's extracted it and put it in this type of table here, in this mini table, but also now I can have it in a graph, which allows me to see trends, where things are really high, where things are really low. For example, you've got 31 entry for the camping holiday from males. Now I know I can see that here as well, that's fine, but it's just so much easier to spot, and as I said, it's so much more aesthetically pleasing to look at. It's just visually easier to spot trends and things like that. Right, so what I can do now, as well as having this, is basically design this a little bit better by adding like a title, by adding axis and things like that. So changing the color. So I want to first of all try and add an element. So let's add a chart element over here, and I'm going to add a chart title, for example. At the moment, as you can see, none is ticked, and I want to add it above the chart, so I can just name that, oops, holiday type, for example. And that's it. That's one pivot that's done. Now in order to do this, I'm gonna now create a new sheet. I'm gonna call this sheet my dashboard. Okay, I can simply either drag and drop, but this is just easier just to copy it and paste it here. Okay, now that's the first graph, and that's showing a particular set or a particular type of information that I'm interested in from the data set, and that's it. Now in terms of the title, this is something that's really easy to do. Just going to highlight. I'm going to make sure I merge the cells, and I think it's because it's cropped, so it's difficult to see. So I'm just going to merge and center the cells. I'm going to call it holiday data dashboard. Okay, and the rest is pretty much formatting. So if I just click on it, I can increase the size, add the background color. And again, I mean, I can do it like this if I want to increase that. Okay, and that's pretty much it. This is how I would do one of the charts. I hope that's been helpful to get you started to create your dashboard. So what you would do moving on to get your dashboard looking like this, um, on the right hand side, is to continue to create different pivot tables, and then continue to create different types of graphs. Potentially you could also summarize some of the key data you have in your data set using a table and using formula, and that's something I'll go over in the next tutorial. You can also use slices, which I've got here, which basically allow you to summarize the different data you have for the different months, and that will change on your interactive dashboard there, and that's working here as well for this specific one. Or you can just go back to the view to look at all of the data sets for all of the different types of holidays. So just follow these steps sequentially, and depending on the different data you want to extract from your main table, you can use the different types of charts, such as the line chart or the pie chart, as you see fit and appropriately. The only other thing I'll show you just before you leave and we end the video is to get rid of the grid lines, and obviously that's one of the things that makes this dashboard look really nice. And the way to do that is just click on your view tab at the top, and this may be different depending on the version of Excel that you're using, but essentially we're going to go onto the view tab, and you should find it somewhere there. So I'm going to click on show, and I'm just going to untick or unselect the grid lines, and that's how it gives you the white, plain white background. So as I said, I hope you found this video useful, and yeah, see you in the next one. Take care.